I guess I'll try this for a second time. Yeah. First time it kind of crashed on me. I got the recording. Oh, you don't hear this just yet. Alright. Today I'm going to be making, or attempting to, yeah, let's get that right. Attempting to make a new Blender rig, new Blender model, and eventually I'm going to rig it. But I'm going to be doing a tutorial on everybody's favorite pony. Well, my favorite pony, Fluttershy. So, this is not by any means how to do this. This is just how I'm doing this. Oh, that is a horrible color. This is how I actually go and make pony models. I've searched YouTube before and actually been very much unable to find how to do Blender ponies. So, yeah, that's not the right color, just ignore that. But what I'm going to do is I'm going to go and try my best and actually create a pony and show you guys how to do it. So the first step is, what I generally do is I'll take doing a pony, as long as I know all the information about it, size, weight, height, mane, tail, all that kind of stuff, is unless you've custom drawn the thing, which you might still be able to use this and get it to work, but I use the pony creator. The link is going to be in the description, or you can pause it and copy it from right here. This is a wonderful, wonderful program. It's pretty much infinite combinations of ponies. I mean, just infinite. Made by General Zoy. I don't know if I've pronounced that right. This guy is amazing. As far as I know, he creates a bunch of Flash games on DeviantArt, but that's not really important for this. Just know he's awesome. So what you're going to do is you're going to go here, go to this link, you're going to make your pony, body, color, eyes, face, mane, tail, all that. You don't have to worry about the background. I mean, you can even just turn it white, like that. It doesn't even matter, actually. What you're going to do is, after you're done, you're going to go to Advanced, and you're going to export a high-resolution image. Warning, it will create a large file size. Let's be honest, it's actually not that big. But you need the high-resolution image. It works much, 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 much better in Blender. You're going to go to Export High-Resolution Pony, save it wherever you want. I've already got one, actually. So I don't have to, ooh, excuse me. So I don't even have to. The other thing that we are going to need for doing our Fluttershy model is we're going to need our cutie mark, which I've actually located here. This one is actually free to use, created by Black Griffin. I mean, you should check him out. He's done a lot of other stuff. I'm not going to show you. I can put his link in the description too. He is awesome. I mean, he's just plain awesome. But for the cutie mark, I'm going to go, I mean, if you've already drawn one, that's great. If you're using, I mean, it's just, you just got to find the one that you're going to use. We're going to use this one. Going to go to download, right click on the image, save image as. I also already have that one, so I don't need to save it. Other than that, we're going to go and launch Blender. Yeah, I've already done this once. You can see how far I got. But my broadcast studio actually decided to quit working on me. So I'm going to be redoing it. Alright. For this, you're actually going to need to know some basic Blender workings and stuff, like how to scale, how to extrude, movement, moving around the 3D environment. This is not a tutorial for that. This is my way of making ponies. So if you need to know how to move around your environment, then you're going to have to find somewhere else. Black screen again. I want to know why it does that. That is for later. We're actually going to be doing this in Cycles render. I've heard a couple rumors that they're actually going to discontinue the Blender render. I like Cycles better anyway, so that's one of the first things we're going to do is we're going to switch it to Cycles render. If you've never messed with Cycles, don't worry. Cycles is amazing. It is a much, much higher quality rendering engine than the Blender internal. It does stuff in a much, much better way. It looks really basic, but I like it much better. It provides much more realistic renders. It also will tax your computer just a little bit more, so if you don't have a high power computer, then it may not work quite as well. There are a couple workarounds for it. I don't know of these workarounds, so it's a good thing I actually have a fairly decent computer. We're going to start by deleting our cube. We're also going to go into orthographic view. This is the side view right now. With the 3D cursor still at the center, we're going to Shift A, add a cylinder. We're going to rotate it 90 degrees. Yes, I do quick key commands. Try to keep up. That's rude. If you need to pause the video at any time, feel free to do so. The next thing is we're going to turn on background imaging. So in your menu tab over here, you can get to it by pressing the N key. Go down, turn on background image, go to add image, open, go to wherever you saved your image to, and open, not that one, that is the wrong image, my apologies. I wish Blender had a thing where you just go back to the last place you were. Open your Fluttershy image. Alright, we're going to take and move our Fluttershy image to the center, with the very center about center of body mass. Yeah, something about like that. We can also take and scale her up a little bit. Scale it to 10. Alright, that's a little bit better. Really, I don't entirely know if the scaling actually matters 100%, but we'll go and just scale her up just because. Bigger Fluttershy, I never heard nothing. Alright, we're going to tab into our cylinder, and I'll try and explain some things as I'm going through this on why I do this the way that I do. So I do this way because I'm not an amazing artist. I'll tell you that right now. I am not great. I make do with what I am able to do, as we probably all do, but I'm doing this because I'm not an amazing artist, as I think I've already mentioned, but I enjoy art, like Blender and drawing. God forbid if you've ever seen any of my art. No. Alright, it's probably not that bad, but I work much better when I have a background image. So I've started doing it this way because it gives me a very nice background reference. So what I'm doing is I'm just taking our cylinder, I'm molding it roughly, this does not have to be precise, roughly to our Fluttershy dimensions. So wait. At this point, it does not need to be perfect. Understand that, it does not need to be perfect. I'm going to show you a couple things to make it render out much, much better. A couple of modifiers and some general easier stuff to do. On the front, if you've got funny mains like this, you will have to kind of guess, but since this is the 5th model I've done this way, I kind of actually already know where everything is. Alright, so that's our basic, very basic Fluttershy body. I think it'll actually work. I hope it works. I hope this video works this time too, but that's another story. Alright, what we're going to do now is we're going to put our 3D cursor about the middle of her head. It doesn't have to be perfect, we'll move it. That's what all the tools are for. Make sure it's still in the very center. You go Shift A and add a UV sphere. Don't add the isosphere, add the UV sphere. We're going to scale it up to where it's fits as much of her head as possible. So we can get it a little bit more precise, I'm going to split the view. Do that. Do than that. Alright, we got 2 Fluttershies now. So I'm going to turn this into front view, go here, temporarily disable background image, which is nice because I can disable it for only this side, not this side. And what we're going to do is we're going to switch into vertex select. We're going to do the I already forgot the proportional editor. We're going to switch it to connected mode. The proportional editor is down here. It's very, very nice tool. I'll show you a little bit about what it does. We're going to kind of block out our face and muzzle just a little bit better. So we're going to switch it out of that and grab those guys right there. This is why I have this view, so I can grab them without having to do a lot of switchbacks. We're going to grab, and notice how it's actually dragging a bunch of vertices with it. This is very, very nice because it allows us to more sculpt rather than just edit. It makes it a lot better. Alright, I'm going to drag it out about right there, deselect that one. You notice the ring, that's our area of effect. It's how much you actually want the proportional editor to modify the model, or the mesh. This is where artistic eye kind of comes in. Just get it how you like it. It doesn't have to be perfect. That is the best thing about unique models. They don't have to be perfect by anybody's standards. They have to be, or they get to be what you want them to be. Another trick that we're going to do is only edit half the model. I'm choosing to only edit this side of the model, the right side. I'll show you why in a little bit. What it will do is it will allow us to use another modifier to make this whole thing a million times easier. One thing you are going to have to do though is all these dots, or all the vertexes that are along the center line, you have to make sure that they are at x equals 0. Up here in your transform panel, if x is anything but a perfect 0, it's not quite going to work. So if you have to, go and select, make sure they're all at 0. I'll tell you why when we get back to our modifier, which is going to be a little bit later. So undoubtedly, modifying only half the model at a time will leave a couple of these vertices at something other than 0. Make sure they are all at 0. This is very, very, very important. Alright, we are done with the split view. I'll go ahead and combine the views back. And our Fluttershy is kind of actually blocking out fairly nicely. Next thing we have to do is we're going to add her neck. We're going to add that, just click roughly the center of her neck. And again, the main thing kind of gets in the way. But I know from past pony models that the neck is going to start somewhere up in here, or end, whichever way you go. It's going to come right down to the front of the chest, and it's also going to start or stop right about here. Just because I've done this a lot. And if you really need, you can go back to your pony editor and do a pony without the mane, which there's one in here somewhere, like at the very end or whatever, but like that. So if you have to, you can do it without the mane just to get a better perspective. Or I mean, just whatever suits your fancy. This is your pony, not my pony or someone else's pony. I'm going to switch out of proportional editing so we don't affect it in that way anymore. It's actually about the right size, believe it or not. I'm going to put the bottom front of our cylinder at the front of her chest, and then just like I did with the body and subsequently with the head, I'm going to start just kind of blocking it out. And just get this where you think everything should be. When we go and add our modifiers, it'll really smooth everything out. Next, get smaller as they go up, not bigger. and just kind of run it up about wherever you think it should be. I'm going to go and run it up to match that vertex, that vertice right there. So if I tab out, or go out of wireframe, tab out, this is in essence what Fluttershy is more or less going to look like when we're done. It's not terrible. It's actually a fairly blocky rendition of Fluttershy. What we're going to do now is why the vertices at x equals 0 so important. We're going to delete half the model. No, we're not going to have to put it all back. We're going to let Blender put it all back. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to switch into wireframe. Face select is actually a really good one. We're going to hit the C key. This is an area select. We're going to scale up and select everything on the left side of the model. Everything. Everything that's on the left side. We'll note you cannot use your middle mouse wheel, so you can't move around the scene. And anything like that. So every time you need to move, you've got to hit escape, move, hit C again, and do it all over again. If you got anything too much, like say I got all that accidentally, you use a middle mouse wheel and it will deselect everything within its area of effect. Alright, now you notice we actually do have a couple of, like on our next cylinder we've got both the top and bottom. That's fine, just leave it. We actually need those taken away. Alright, make sure you don't have anything else though. And then what we're going to do, we're going to hit X and we're going to delete faces. This gives us half of Fluttershy, or half of our Fluttershy model. Two things you are going to have to do. We're going to go back into the front view, and it's deleted the front and back half circles of the body. We actually do need those. We're going to go into the edge select, and you use Shift and Alt. I'm going to select the entire ring and hit F, and that's just going to generate a face right there. I'm going to do the same thing on the back. Control 1. I already had it. Right. Oop, not that. A. Shift Alt right there. Face. Alright. Don't do it to the next cylinder. We actually need both of those gone. I'll show you why or I'll explain why. I can't entirely show you. What we are going to need is we are going to need a couple more edge loops on primarily the top portion of the neck. So go and add them. I generally like adding them at the head edges where the rings on the head, rings isn't quite the right word, but where the edges on the head meet the neck. And I'll show you why when you actually get to editing or combining the neck and the head. So right now we technically have three distinct meshes. Technically they're all one though. This is the body, the neck, and the head are all one, but if you applied a skeleton to this right now, it wouldn't quite work right. I have done that, and it is absolutely horrible looking. It does not bend quite how you would want it to. I'm going to go ahead and add a couple loop slides to the body as well, or the base of the neck. I'm going to add one more to the body right about there. Alright, so everything that's within both the head and the body of the neck, and, well, everything that's overlapping we can actually get rid of. So all this right there, we're going to delete all that. All of it, right there. Now it does make a couple gaps, but that's alright. We're going to go and fill those in when we go and join the neck to the head and subsequently the body to the neck. So just go delete anything that you think is going to overlap. That's not going to overlap, that's part of the head. Faces. Right there. Alright, that's good. There's still some overlapping, but we'll get to that after we get the 3 meshes joined together. Do the same thing down here for the body and neck and everything like that. This may not be, well, may not. This probably is not the best way to make a model in Blender, but with my limited artistic skills and with virtually no knowledge of actually how to sculpt a model, this is the best that I can come up with. It's what works for me. If it doesn't work for you, that's alright. What? What on earth? Alright. And now what we're going to do is we're going to do the very laborious process of joining all these faces together. Yes, that's right. We're going to make one mesh. This process is basically do what you think is going to yield the best model. That's pretty much the easiest way to sum it up. It's the saying, beauty is in the eye of the beholder. It perfectly applies. So, just one at a time, I guess. It's pretty much about the only way to do it. One at a time, take, join faces, move edges, move vertices, all that kind of stuff. Just go and not hit Shift F. I still don't know what that does. Just go and join all of the vertices. You want to do it on both the head to the neck to the body and the head to the neck. We're going to make it as a true single mesh, because right now it's not entirely a single mesh. But we're going to fix that. We're in the process of fixing that. Right? Right. I'll put a annotation in the video right about now. I mean, basically I'm just selecting several edges at once, like that, hit F, and it's going to create a face between them. And do this for all the pieces of the body, all the pieces that are joining close to the neck. Do the same thing for the neck to the head. If you want to skip ahead, I'll put a link to right when I get done with this, so you can just skip ahead and miss all the boring repetitiveness. If you don't want to skip ahead, you're more than welcome to listen to me talk about random whatever. And yes, you've been warned, it will be very random. Mostly. So, yeah. Whatever you choose, won't hurt me a bit. Quit hitting Shift F. It annoys me. Yeah. So anyway, yeah, I'm still very much in the beginnings of working Blender, so not all this is amazing methods. And you'll probably notice that if you ever look at any of my animations or still renderings. That's not what I meant to do. Control Z is a wonderful tool. If they didn't have it, I probably wouldn't do Blender. Just, yeah. I'm just making this look what I think would look good. I mean, if you want to get ultra fancy and do everything perfectly, be my guest. I am not quite that stingy on my models. Stingy's not the right word. But if you want to, feel free. You have been warned. It is very hard. Well, any method I know is very hard to make it look perfect. I've done it like 4 times and I still don't have it. What on earth have I done there? Alright, delete that face and let's try this again. Alright, there's an edge right there. That one, that one, that one. Alright, there we go. Yes, it does create some pretty odd angles and shapes and stuff, but a little refinement and you can actually get most of that out. Maybe a lot of refinement, but I'm going for the simplest model possible, in all honesty. You'll see, it'll turn out alright. But, yeah, like my main character model that you may or may not have seen in the video that I released not that long ago, the advertisement for Iron Champ Productions. If you have not seen it, I highly recommend you go check it out. I loved doing that animation. In fact, it was one of my best animation yet. Just pure and simple, it's the best one I've ever done. I absolutely loved it. What on earth? Oh. I don't know how Blender does some of this stuff. Let's try it again. Alright, there we go. Alright, what? Blender, why do you do crazy stuff like this? Anyway, the video that I did was an advertisement for an Iron Champ Productions. It's actually a, I'm going to label it as a music studio. It's not officially a music studio. It's somebody working out of his own home making the most amazing music I've ever heard. That's pretty much what it is. You should go check out the video because I absolutely love the animation, tooting my own horn of course. But it also has a link in the description and in the video to Iron Champ Productions. You really should go check it out. I did not get to talk about that near as long as I did last time, which is a shame. Shame on me. Anyway. If you clicked the little skip link, and then you're probably going to be joining me right about now. Everything's done, or all the joining of faces and meshes and stuff is done. Alright, what we're going to do now is our Fluttershy is looking mostly in one piece. Tab out of edit mode, it looks alright. This is where you'd want to go and do any adjustments that you think are necessary. It's your choice. But what we're going to do right now is we're going to add a modifier. The first of several. So on the object, go to your add modifier, or your modification tab, which is a little wrench. Go to add modifier, and we're going to add a mirror modifier. And if you've aligned it the same way that I've aligned it, where the front's facing front and everything, default it's going to be mirror x-axis, and it's going to be good. Yes, that was a Skype notification. I'm not going to look at that right now. This is more important, sort of. Tab out of edit mode, we have a single image, or a single mesh. We're not going to apply it. Do not click the apply button. We're not done. Go back into side view. In fact, if you want, you can just disable that temporarily. That's perfectly fine with me. We're now going to add ears and eyes. First thing is we're going to go into top view, right about where you think a pony's ear should be. We're going to click. I think they should be about right there. We're going to put our 3D cursor there, and then we're going to put it right at the very tip of the ear. Alright, now what we're going to do is we're going to be a little weird. Alright, we're going to click on any vertex. Yes, right? Yes, vertex. And we're going to do Shift D, and we're going to get a single vertex. Yeah. I'm going to drag it over to where our 3D cursor is. Just like that. Now we've got a single dot at our 3D cursor location. Alright, we're going to now take and extrude it just in the general shape of the ear. Run it all the way down until it starts disappearing into the mesh, which is about right there, which is convenient. Alright, we're going to select both of those vertexes and do F, which is going to face them together. And we're going to do the same thing on the back side of the ear. And keep in mind, this is a very rough version of an ear, but when we go and add our other modifiers, it's mostly going to work. Alright, we're disappearing about right there, which is also perfect. Do the same thing, Shift F. That's gotten the entire thing. Now comes the slightly bit more challenging part. We're gonna do some edge selection stuff. We're gonna create 2 lines just like that. 2 little diagonal lines. Yes, we have a dot ear now. Now what we're going to do is we're going to go back in edge selection and start creating triangles. Yay! Everybody loves triangles. Right? Right. And we're going to face, or quote-unquote, flesh our ear out. Not flesh it, flesh it. Yes, that sounds kind of weird, actually. Just grab vertices, make shapes with them, like that. Alright. That is mostly less, an ear. We're actually going to modify the mesh just a little bit. Get our ear going a bit more in the right direction. Not one direction, the right direction. One direction is the wrong direction. Alright. Now, we're going to take cough cough, face select our entire ear. We're going to extrude it back this way. I did it again. Alright. Let me see here. Yeah, that's actually what I want to do. Alright. That gives us an ear, more or less. Mostly less. Alright, you know how we just went and faced everything? We're going to do it again. Yay! Just what every pony wants. More faces. And to make it work a little bit better, try and do it roughly the same as you did the first time, which, depending upon how the model's built, could be a little bit hard. Doesn't have to be perfect. I keep saying that, but it's still true. Doesn't have to be perfect. Wait, that one. 1, 2, 3 those. 1, 2, 3 that. No, all of them. Alright, all the last ones. Those. No, Control Z, Z, Z. All that. There we go. And now, we're going to select all the faces yet again. Extrude. Leave it right there. Scale it down just a little bit. And then push it in. This is going to give the illusion that our ear is actually semi-3-dimensional. In fact, let's scale it down just a little bit more. I think it makes for a more realistic ear, but whatever. Alright, the last thing we're going to do in this part is we're going to do the eyes. We're not going to build the eyes, we're just going to build the eye socket. The easy part of the eyes. So we're going to select knife from our mesh tools on the left panel. You can get it by clicking T if you don't already have it up, or the shortcut is K, I think. And if you've never used knife tool before, it's really easy. It gives you a little knife icon, a little green square. What you're going to do is you're going to click on a edge with the square. Just click it wherever you want to start your knife, and then go through and click on the edges around right about where you think an eye should be, or where Fluttershy's eye actually happens to be. Now we're going to click them. If you ever need to make it click in the middle of a square, that's perfectly fine. It will actually figure it out. Like if I did one there, it'll do it. When you get done, click on the first one you did, and then click enter. And this is going to actually do our eye cutout. We're going to go, we're still in face select, select all these, including the itty bitty ones that we happen to make, which I made like 3 or 4. Select them all. We're selecting all the faces. Alright. We're going to hit E, extrude it inward, about that much. I'm going to deviate from what I did originally. Click the very center one, go back into the connected proportional editor, grab it in, and we're going to concave our eye socket just a little bit. Right there. It's mainly for aesthetics. Alright. I'm going to select all the edges of the eye socket, the outside. Just the socket. Alright. Yeah, that's all. We're going to hit S. I'm going to turn off the proportional editor. And we're going to scale this up just a little bit. And move it in just a little bit. There we go. Nope. Back into 3, Z. We have our eye socket. Alright. This is going to conclude part 1 of the tutorial. The next tutorial we're probably going to get into legs, mouth. We'll see what else we get into. Yeah, this is going to be a multi-part tutorial. If you liked, click like. If you didn't like, yeah, self-explanatory. If you want to see more randomness tutorials like this, then feel free to subscribe. I will be doing part 2, part 3, part 4, however many parts this ends up taking. Alright. So, yeah. I guess that's the end of the video. I will see you next time for another Blender tutorial. Have fun!